here since 1919 to offer mobility to people. André Citroën very quickly understood that if we want to grow in this business, we need to make the car more affordable. That's why he decided to produce high quantities of car in the same factory to put down the price of the car. And thanks to this, he was able to propose cars to a bigger number of persons. And we did the same when we launched the 2CV. We permitted generation and generation of people to own their car and to travel everywhere with that type of car. I think what we show here is exactly this vision of freedom and this vision of mobility, a mobility for all. That's very Citroën. But that's a bit the previous answer. We really want to say that we are a mobility player, a big mobility player, since ever. And what is interesting for us is really mobility for all, and not only mobility for happy few. So clearly, when we go electric, we are really interested in electric for all. The stake for the electric business is to be able to massively put down the prices in order to make electric affordable for all. AMI 1 is the vision of mobility, urban mobility by Citroën, and this is mobility for all. In two aspects. First, because it has been imagined as an object designed to cost. For example, you've got very clever structure elements in the car, such as the two doors are exactly the same, the four-wheel passage are exactly the same, the front is exactly the same as the back, so you can clearly imagine that it's not going to cost 30K. Two, this is a car it is an object without any driving license. The fact that you can drive this object without any driving license, age 16 in UK, age 14 in France or in Italy, means that it's clearly telling you mobility for all. So that's very important. And also the fact that you are not obliged to own it to get it. You can rent it for 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, is completely disrupting the way we approach the automotive and the mobility. There is something which is incredible, is that wherever you go in the world, people have Citroën. We are present in 90 countries, and you've got collectors of Citroën in countries where we do not sell Citroën. Example, Canada. Example, USA. That's amazing. And the biggest number of collectors are either at Citroën, either at Alfa Romeo. So we do think that Citroën is really an iconic brand. And an iconic brand has always an heritage. That's why it is very important for us to respect the heritage. And the heritage inspires respect for future users, either buyers, either renters. And heritage is always synonymous of icon.
Well, it's in the year of the centenary, which is a great start. It's in the year where we have all of the range established, so that's another reason for being here. And of course also it's the time when we wanted to share our concept about urban mobility. So all of those three things sort of joined together to make it Geneva, great time, able to showcase all of those three things. Well, it's all about the positioning and what we've established since 2014. So that was a 360-degree strategy which looked at products, it looked at the services, and it looked at the customer journey. And basically, by putting all of those into place, coherence across the whole of that strategy is now bearing fruit. And Europe was the first one, the first region where we introduced all of those things, all those elements. And as you quite rightly say, best record sales for the past 7 years, and sales up almost 30%. So yes, I think it's the culmination of all of those things being put in place. And of course now we need to roll that out across all the regions across the world. So the concept car, AMI 1, is where we're testing the market to understand. And we wanted to show, first of all, our vision of what urban mobility, because we're all talking about, you've got to be 100% electric, you can't go into the cities, etc. But we wanted to protect the liberty and freedom of customers. So we wanted to test a concept, which is, you can drive this in the inner cities. It's 100% electric, you don't need a driving license, very, very easy to park, all of those things that are concerns of when you're in big cities. And we're just testing the market. So it's very important for Citroen because we've always had this history in 100 years to show innovativeness and sort of creativity, and always trying to find a solution that's right for the right time. And we believe it's right now is the most important time to be talking about urban mobility. And also it's not just about the object, it's also about how you would use this vehicle. So, we want to be able to say that you can use this vehicle for 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years, whatever it may be, and offer different ways and different solutions for the customer to be able to experience it. Well, it's very, very important for us to become more international. As I said, our current positioning is working very, very well in terms of in Europe. We've also now rolled that out, for example, into South America with the C4 Cactus, and now we've got the opportunity to go into India. India is an enormous market. It's currently 3 million passenger cars, and it's due to grow exponentially, double maybe by 2025. So an enormous opportunity for Citroen as a brand, because Citroen, we talk about our creativity and we can be different, and it's a brand that can differentiate itself, and I think you need to do that when you've got such a big market and in emerging. You've got to be different, and therefore the unique styling, the comfort message, being at the heart of the market, we offer something different to the Indian market, and that's why we think it's going to be great for us, and of course it will be able to have a very sort of balanced portfolio across many regions. Well, I think there's two aspects of this, because of course there's the mobility object that we're showcasing with AMI 1, the concept, but there's also our electrification strategy. Because for Citroen, we're in the technology of also making sure that we've got our plug-in hybrid electric next year on the C5 Aircross, and every vehicle we launch after that, from 2020 onwards, will have an electrified version as well. So by 2025, we're going to be 100% with our vehicles and models having an electrified version. So there's one part of it which is the electrification of the range, and the other part of it is about mobility, and mobility in the sort of urban areas. And I think that's really, really important for us to focus, because more and more our freedom is being challenged, and we want to make sure that we can offer something to our solutions which is a little bit innovative. So I think there's two aspects for it: the normal electrification and this growth in the desire of society to be actually have more mobility in the urban areas.
To the brand?
Well, I mean, of course, Brexit is a question everybody asks, and I think the problem with Brexit, we don't actually know what's going to happen. So we're all waiting until the end of March to see what it's going to be. The UK itself, for Citroen, it's my 5th largest market, so clearly it's an important market. So I need to understand, but we need to have some form of stability. I obviously import vehicles into the UK, and therefore I need to understand whether it's going to be, no tariffs, what it's going to be. So at the moment, of course, the PSA group has lots of strategies: hard Brexit, soft Brexit, no deal, etc. But until we know what it is, we can't react. But it obviously will have an enormous impact.
Citroën is for me a brand of the heart. I grew up with Citroën. My grandfather was driving DS, my mother was driving the Chevaux Diane, my father had a CX. So it's a brand that really represents my childhood. So it's a big responsibility for me to be head of design for Citroën and to contribute to their history. That is a big part of the automotive industry history in general. Of course, when we talk about new energies, we're talking about new package for designers as well. The fact that you put batteries, you have different cooling systems, etc. So that has a direct effect on how we design cars, for sure. This multi-energy and this electrification is interesting for us to rethink the way we design cars. The AMI 1 is a great little concept. As you know, we are celebrating our 100 years anniversary this year, and it's one of the two big concepts that we will present this year. So it's a small object meant to be a future mobility inspiration for us. And it's most of all a very clever concept.